We're talking AFC. The AFC West is a monster. But you got to get out of the AFC North just to be able to talk about dealing with the AFC West. And the AFC North, you got Lamar Jackson. You have Joe Burrow. But you have a running game. You know, Nick Chubb is a man. That's a grown man in that backfield. Their offensive line, they lose, you know, 1-2 to free agency, but I still think this is a fine offensive line. So, Jenna, when I look at this AFC North, I look at the Cleveland Browns being maybe 3 at best, even with Deshaun Watson, 3 at best, because I'm not putting them above Baltimore coming into this season. Baltimore dealt with a lot of injuries. They'll be back whole this year, and we'll see an entirely different team out of Baltimore. I do not think it was a fly-by-night situation with Cincinnati. So then now if you go out into the AFC West, what? Kansas City. I don't know about Denver, but Denver looks to be much improved. And then you look at the Chargers. I think the Chargers, with what they did this offseason, if Khalil Mack is a 10th of what he once was, that defense now goes up. So to me, if you're looking overall, I think they're competitive. But to get out over your skis is to say that this Cleveland Browns team is now a legitimate contender in the AFC to represent the AFC in either in the championship game, you know, or even in the AFC championship game. I think that's a reach.
Now, look, you're right, LaVar, in that the AFC North, I mean, it's one of the best 3 divisions in the league now. AFC North, AFC West, NFC West. It is going to be battle. I hear you. And I will go, look, Cleveland has been talented enough over the last several years, but it seems like every time you expect something from them, they don't deliver. When you don't expect something, they do deliver. And maybe that was some of Baker Mayfield. Let's be honest, you take on the personality of quarterback a lot. We know there were maturity issues there. If Deshaun Watson can play the full 17 games, I do like them a lot. I'm going to put them ahead of Baltimore. And I hear you. Lamar needs a bounce-back year. They did have a ton of injuries. They're well coached. I get it. But I would expect Cincinnati to take a year, like to fall back if they hadn't strengthened the offensive line the way they have. Like, they've been on that offensive line in free agency, and now it looks legitimate, and I think that's going to enable them to stay near the top of that division. So I'm seeing 3 teams in the AFC West making it, everybody but the Raiders, who have gotten better themselves. I'm seeing 1 team each from the South and the East, and then I'm seeing 2 from the AFC West, North, and it's early. We got time. Right now, I'm liking Cleveland and Cincinnati. I don't know if it's the Ohio in me, Nick. Wow. But right now, I'm looking at those 2 teams over Baltimore.
You guys are
Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Wow, the disrespect for Wild's beloved Patriots. The disrespect. So, by the way, it should be noted, I'm not trying to bring back old stuff, but maybe with you predicting a rousing 4th place finish for the Raiders, maybe, just maybe, your old buddy Nick Wright's take that pump the brakes on Devontae Adams trade being a big game changer. Oh, Kansas City should be so afraid. Like, maybe, just maybe, I had something there. Now, I do think there's going to be an extra playoff spot available because you're putting Mr. Unlimited Publicity in the playoffs. I am not.
Oh, yeah.
The Chiefs and the Chargers are the only 2 teams from the AFC West I'm penciling in. But, yeah, so here's the deal, Wilds. On the field, we know how excellent Deshaun Watson is. We also know that, do you remember when they were up 24-0 on Kansas City? How long ago that feels?
I do.
You remember that playoff game? Since then, Deshaun Watson has won 4 football games. He went 4-12 and then missed a season. And I don't think he's going to play the full 17. I don't think the Browns think it. I don't think Deshaun thinks it. I think they structured that contract anticipating a suspension. So I think this year, and this is why I find what the Browns did to be somewhat perplexing, I think the Browns had a chance if they would have just never entered this business, bring back Baker, not have any of the noise, try to, build on what they had the previous season when Baker was healthy. Instead, they're in an incredibly tough division, bring in a new quarterback that's going to have a lot of outside things pulling at him, as we discussed earlier in the show, and he's going to miss a portion of the season. And so for all those reasons, I don't think the Browns are a playoff team this coming year. Now, could it work out for them long term? Once, if and when Deshaun gets past any NFL penalties and any, potential legal ramifications, sure, he is an extraordinary player. But for the 2022 season, I would say the Browns are more likely to finish under 500 than they are to make the postseason.
I agree with you. I think the Browns are the only team, LaVar, who are starting this offseason thinking about next year. Here's who their home opponents are: Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Steelers, and Tom Brady. And I think I don't think we have to say we think. It's almost assured that Deshaun Watson is going to miss a portion of those games. So I think optimistically, if you're Cleveland, you're going to end the year with Deshaun Watson as your quarterback on maybe a little bit of a winning streak and start thinking about the year following this one. I think that is best case scenario, that they've always sort of wanted their quarterback and have been looking for a franchise quarterback. And now we think that they have one, but it's not going to bear fruit this year at all between the suspension and just how difficult their division is.
It's a big move for Cleveland, as big as we've ever seen from a team in the history of the game. We also have to take into consideration we're putting so many things on the field. We're basing our opinions and our assumptions and estimations off of what's taking place on the field. You have to put some of our estimation and some of our, prognostications with off the field. If they don't play well, and they don't play well early, Cleveland loves football. They may not win much, but they love football in Cleveland. They love football in Ohio. And if you're not playing good football, they will get at you. They'll jump at your neck now, and they'll let you know. There is more pressure on Deshaun Watson off the field coming into this season than even I would anticipate on it. Giving him a contract, awarding a contract of that much money guaranteed, you're saying we're putting our entire wagon and we're hitching it onto you, Deshaun Watson, to carry us forward into the future. I don't think they get the tree doesn't bear fruit this year. They don't get that because all of the pressures of what has happened off the field. They need instant justification of the contract that they just issued out to Deshaun Watson. And I think the AFC is the hardest division for you to prove justification without time. And so I think they're in a very, very curious situation, both the organization and Deshaun Watson.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.